Hi, Carlene. It's
Hello,
so good to
Jan.
see you. So good to see you. We're here today to have a conversation, and I think it will be amazing, as our conversations always feel to me pretty amazing. But just to give a short introduction, I'd like to introduce Carlene Saelg, my friend and teacher. And I guess a good way to describe Carlene is cosmic traveler. She's an author, a teacher, a shaman, and so much more, so much more. I am really, I just feel so honored to be your friend and your student and all the things that I feel we have together between us. So um, we're here today to have a conversation about Carlene's cosmic travels and much more. So welcome, Carlene.
Thank you, Jan. This is such a sweet introduction. I really appreciate it. And of course, I am so grateful and so thankful that we have crossed paths so in a kismet way. I mean, it was just like we showed up in each other's world and it was just a perfect match. And when that kind of thing happens, I know it's absolutely a frequency match because we are more in the galactic family, so to speak. So it's like we have that familial connection that's more galactic, more cosmic than just being here in different places on this planet, right? Because you're in Canada and I'm all the way in Florida in the US. So it definitely a
Exactly.
distance there.
Yes, exactly. It's just a perfect synchronicity, and when that happens, it's beautiful, beautiful.
It is.
So,
So gosh, where should we start? Should I talk about my first experience that I remember as an ET contactee when I met my star family, or just when I realized different things when I was a child about having psychic ability? And I mean, you tell me, where should we start?
um, I would love to hear about your contact with your soul family, with your galactic outreach, and you could certainly add your whatever you want into that. But I am so excited to hear your story.
100%. Well, this is what makes these conversations so fantastic is when we get to explore how things happen, why they happen, when they happen. And for me, I've been a traveler, so to speak, a galactic traveler since I was 12 years old and was traveling in my Merkaba and had no earthly idea what I was doing. I thought I was in this invisible aircraft, but it wasn't until I became an adult that I understood what the um, the energetic Merkaba is, which is a vehicle for communication, travel, and healing in the fifth dimension or and beyond, because I use it for so many things now. But when I was a kid, I was joyriding. I was
I love
literally
that.
joyriding because I had no idea what I was doing. And as a kid, I was just like, I can fly. So, that was um just to go a little bit further into that, it happened more when I was in a dream state, or what I like to call that lucid dreaming state, where it's the between being really asleep and totally awake.
Yeah.
And when that would happen, I would get into this invisible vehicle, my Merkaba, that I know now is called the Merkaba. But I would literally take it for a joyride. I would just literally be in this bubble, if you will, of energy. But in my 12-year-old mind, I thought it was like a helicopter, but it was invisible. Do you know what I mean? So it had substance, it had structure, but it was literally see-through, invisible, like it was just an energetic structure. And I felt totally comfortable in it and traveling and just taking a joyride. So I would go and just fly above the houses and above the just going about having a fun time as a 12-year-old in my Merkaba. But it wasn't until that lucid realization came into my conscious awareness that I all of a sudden would freak myself out. And this happened so many times where I'd be like, oh my God, I'm flying and this is not supposed to be happening. Like, this is not real. How is this possible? And because of that, it immediately kicked me out of that experience and shoved me into this 3D body, this 3D avatar, so hard or so quickly that I would slam back into my body and literally grab the edges of the bed because it was that physical of a sensation. I'd be like, whoa, what just happened? And like literally feel that falling sensation back into my body. And it was very disconcerting for me because I was just like, what just happened? And it wasn't like I could just run up to my mom and be like, this thing just happened. I just didn't do that. It was more, oh, I better keep that to myself. Maybe it was just a dream, but it would happen all the time. And it wasn't until I became an adult and got very much into my spiritual journey and becoming a Reiki master and really mastering the skills of energy and how to travel within and without this body, that I came to understood all of the in-depth type principles around astral travel, the Merkaba, and even connecting with my star family, which I know is one of the more exciting things that we're going to talk about today, because this is where we are. Lots of people are having spontaneous experiences where they're astral traveling or they're flying around their room while they're sleeping, but their body is still in their bed and they can see that, so there are so many different things like that are happening spontaneously to people. So don't get freaked out if that's happening to you, right? It's just a natural, multidimensional progression of who we are as human beings as we awaken into our more galactic human selves. And this is, part of what I do as a spiritual guide, teacher, and facilitator. I help people realize those parts of themselves, help them develop that DNA structure to be able to comfortably and easily, effortlessly move into these multidimensional experiences. So with that, just don't be freaked out when things start happening. That's my biggest piece of advice, because this is who we are meant to be as advanced beings. We were, for the longest time, interfered with and somewhat controlled through frequency, that it kept us in fear mode. It kept us in this depleted place where we really truly didn't know the extent of our abilities. And now we are spontaneously waking up to that, or consciously making the effort to accelerate the DNA activation experience so that it's more of an everyday experience and nothing that has to be feared. So I guess in a nutshell, that's where we are right now, right? As an awakening collective of souls, right? But additionally, how about I tell you about when I met my Pleiadian star family?
Oh, I would love to hear about that. I would love to hear about that. Please.
So I've had experiences with other entities before, but they always, previous to 2020, they previously came to me either as ascended masters or archangels or past loved ones. And it wasn't until I had a very incredible experience where my star family, my Pleiadian star family, reached out to me and created the opportunity for me to fully know who they are without any other pretense or disguise or other way of softening who they might be or could be in the realm of ascended masters, our archangels, and those other entities, which lots of people in the spiritual world lean on, when really they're likely speaking to their star families. Right?
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point, for sure.
And not to say that spiritual masters or ascended masters like Jesus aren't who they say they are, because they are. But because, like Jesus, I've had many experiences. I would say probably 7 to 10 different experiences that are tangible, that are real, that are very in the room, so to speak, where I met with Jesus. And he is an ascended master. He is an embodied
part, a fractal of, a piece
of source, right? Of source creator, of God, of spirit. But he was also an ET being. And I just paused there for a second because I was like, oh, should I say this? But yes, it's time to say the truth. And an ET, different dimensional being, is exactly who Jesus was.
Okay.
And many of us on this human existence have had interactions with Jesus. They are not few and far between. People just don't talk about them because of fear of being ridiculed. You can't possibly know Jesus like that. Well, yes, we can. We are multidimensional and interdimensional beings. We can absolutely have a relationship that is fully tangible with people just like Jesus, who is the full embodiment of love. He was here to teach us, to model for us what it's like to live from your heart center, to just be the example of love, and to know that your higher self, your connection to source, is the way through any of these external circumstances, whether they're problems or joyous occasions. You can move through them knowing that your heart center is connected to your higher self, which is connected to source energy or God. And Jesus was the living embodiment of that instruction, right? He came here to show us by modeling, by being the role model of love. He never wanted to be a prophet. He never wanted to be a leader, so to speak, as someone to be immortalized. That was never his goal. He was just here to show what it's like to live from your heart center, right? And I just totally got off on a tangent.
No, that was a good tangent. And it's so true. He was given a lot of flack for that too, for who he was, the way he was, and the love that he was able to share with people, to spread. And I'm certainly hoping that people can open more and more to the reality of this, so that people stop receiving flack for being and encompassing love. You know, this is where I hope we're going. This is where we are going.
We absolutely are going, because this is the Christ consciousness, right? This is what he was trying to teach and emulate, was if we are living truly from the heart center, if we can lead with love and joy and bliss and happiness, and just treat each other the way we want to be treated, that we can move through all circumstances, and we can transmute negativity and things that are not of the so-called light, right? Because there was a lot of, interference by negative type energies. And not that we want to focus on that, because that's no longer here, right? So as long as we can live from that heart center and emulate and live like Jesus did, then we are living our divine mission. And that is truly to be love and to show love and to experience life in a loving frequency. When we do that, our entire world changes because we are treating people like we want to be treated. That's like the golden rule, isn't it?
Yes, it's so simple and it's so easy to explain when you articulate it as you have. And as people understand that the main thing they need to do is drop away fear, it's such an open, everything expands from there. Everything changes when you don't have the fear.
This is so true, Jan.
Your vibration can go up.
Yes. And it's so, when we really sink into it, it is so prevalent and it is so elementary because we literally just have to increase those feelings, those vibrations, that frequency of love to extend outside of our physical body into that etheric or energetic field. And when that happens, you become, I like to say, you become like a giant. And that giant is an amplification of love, right? It's an amplification of who we are as galactic beings. And in so doing, dropping away the fear, which is, the touch point of all the other negative emotions is fear, right? So if we can get rid of the fear, knowing that we are now fully safe to express that love, because we are, just truly believe we are safe now. We can express love without fear of retribution, without fear of bullying, without fear of, being abused or hurt in any way because of the love we feel or the love we have to express. We can do it without shame. We can do it without fear again, right? So when we have this place where we feel safe and we can express who we are, it makes contact with multidimensional beings, experiences, our star family, so much more prevalent. And this is literally what happened to me. I simply made the decision, because it's been happening for my entire life in one way or another. But in 2021, I literally went outside, looked up at the stars, which I always am doing, looked up at the stars, found the Pleiades star system, and made a very heartfelt connection where I was speaking in the direction of them, of the star system, and said, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And those words just came out 3 times like that in such a way that I know the frequency, where it was directed, who it was directed to, and that it was heard. I felt in my soul, in my every cell of my being, that my request was heard and received. And lo and behold, when I went to bed that night, a man entered my bedroom dressed in like a suit, if you will, kind of similar to what you see when people are space traveling, right? Not those crazy moon landing suits, but, just a form-fitting galactic type suit, right? And he was tall, he was beautiful, and the frequency that he emitted was very soothing, very loving, very comfortable. Even so, I checked in with myself, and this was something that happened just spontaneously. And I said, am I safe? And that was me using my discernment to make sure that who's interacting with me is of the same frequency and is a positive light being and not something trying to mask itself or trick me in any way, right? So thankfully, I had the wherewithal or the forethought to say immediately, and this was just a gut reaction, something I probably have known for all of my lifetimes, to check in and ask, is this okay? Are you safe? Am I safe? And that frequency match was telepathic. It was so immediate. I barely had time to form the question before I fully knew in my body and in my energy signature that, yes, I am 100% safe. And I know who this person is. Even if I didn't know him personally, I knew he was a Pleiadian. He was of my familial lineage, star family. So I was like, yes, wherever you're taking me, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Right. And
this inner discernment is so wonderful. And you know, everybody has the ability to develop it. Everybody has it. And it is like a muscle that you develop. And as it develops, you develop more faith, and it gets stronger. You relax. Everything is about relaxing into it. Because if you're trying, efforting with discomfort or with fear, it just doesn't come through the same. It's trust, isn't it? It's about so much trust and faith, and then checking in, and that discernment is so helpful. And when you know you've got that to lean on, then you can have these experiences. That sounds like it must have been amazing. Must have been amazing.
But what you just said really strikes a chord and must be reiterated, because we are in a safe time, right? So this, even though time is not linear, it's not the way we were taught, we are in the most perfect moment in our galactic history as planet Earth to be safe. So our foundation of safety is there. So we can lean into that trust and lean into that place where we can let go of any fear. So we can have these experiences and know that we're likely going to be contacted or talking with or experiencing people who are of the same frequency. Yes, still use your discernment and ask the questions. Just know to do it. But also have the faith and the belief that you are safe. Have that intention before even going into wanting an experience, that your intention only brings forth those who are a frequency match. So that you can
Let's repeat that. Your intention only brings forward a frequency match. That's so important for people to understand, because we hear over and over, you're going to get whatever it is you're focusing on, whatever frequency you're embodying. You're going to get more of that. You're going to get more of that. And yes, it's so true.
And remember, when I went outside and I made that connection with the Pleiades star system in the sky, my intention was to connect with them, to bring them forward, to tell them I was ready for an experience. And I directly had that experience. So that matched my intention. So the frequency match was already there. I did still check in with myself. Make sure, through my higher self and my intuition and my connection to source, that I was safe. And in so doing, this man who is a Pleiadian, but he was literally just there to escort me. He said, I'm here to take you to see some very important people. And I was like, okay, let's go do it. And I thought that I was going to be transported to a starship, to a spaceship. But that did not happen. In fact, it was a teleportation. It happened very quickly. And I was on the planet. I was in the Pleiades star system that I had asked to be, connected with. And I was delivered. I was literally delivered, escorted to a place that had these doors in front of me. They were these ornate kind of arched doors that were made of wood, and they were just so beautiful. And he basically just said, okay, you're here, like that was the intention. I don't know if any words were actually exchanged, but he just kind of dropped me off. And I opened these beautiful doors, And when I stepped inside, I was home.
Mm.
I was home, Jan. Like I could cry thinking about it right now because I'm feeling that same frequency, that same energy of being in the room with my galactic star sisters. There was 3 Pleiadian women in that room who are my sisters, who are my family. And I actually ended up staying there on the Pleiades, in the Pleiades. I don't even remember. I think it was Taygeta was the planet. Feels right. So that's what it is. And I stayed there for 2 weeks. And it was quite an experience because when I came back, I'll just cut to the end of this and just tell you when I came back, I did not have full recollection of everything that occurred because when I came back here to planet Earth, to, Gaia, the frequency, the dimension was completely different. And it took a while for me to be able to integrate and embody the upgraded frequency that I went through. So when I was there, I went through a complete healing and an upgrade of my DNA and frequency, being able to hold frequency. But when I came back to this body, there was like a loss of time where it took me about a good 2 weeks to remember the entire experience, to embody and integrate the upgrades that happened while I was there, and then to be able to bring forward my soul's mission, everything that I brought back with me when I was up there. So it was quite an experience. And I can tell you when I was there, when I first opened the doors and stepped inside, the texture of the air, of the environment, the color, everything was so elevated and vibrant and different, like vibrant in the energetic sense, but the colors were actually pastel. So I saw lots of pastel colors of yellows and pinks and greens and blues, but they were in the air. It was like the air surrounding me. You think our air is clear, right? Around us, for the most part, if it's clean air, it's clear, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When I was there, the air was this colorful pastel air. It was very different, right? So
everything around you was that air looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you? I don't know why this creates such curiosity in me, but do you have any sense of who you were or how you were there? Were you all energy? Were you, you know what I'm asking?
I do know what you're asking. You're asking me, did I have a human type body or was I a different type of existence?
Yeah.
And I can say, yes, I was absolutely a human body. In fact, it was still my body that I have right here. I didn't actually look in a mirror, so I don't know if I was different, if I stepped into my true Pleiadian form when I was there, because I don't remember looking in a mirror. It's possible I was. I don't know. All I know is I felt as though I was back in my Pleiadian existence, holding that elevated frequency and being able to really just have a celebration with my Pleiadian sisters who were welcoming me back and just, having some time to rest and rejuvenate and really remember my soul's mission. So a lot of things happened while I was there. Yes, there was celebration and getting to know, being home again and that kind of thing, like a family reunion, and also resting and going through a full body healing for this avatar. So that's another reason that makes me think I was there with this body, with this avatar, because I had this full body healing that happened. And while I was there, it was not just a healing in the sense of there's nothing in your body that is in a diseased state, but I was also activated and elevated into that galactic human genome that we were always meant to have, but was interfered with for hundreds of thousands of years on planet Earth. Okay. So that got corrupted and ceased the evolutionary process from occurring with the progression and the speed that it was meant to happen. So while I was there, I went through this activation to upgrade this body, right? And by doing so, everything has changed in remarkable ways, in astronomical, intergalactic ways, as far as coming back with the ability to really deliver, facilitate these same activations that happened for me, to bring them back here and help other spiritual leaders, starseeds, and healers. That's my soul's mission. So it is miraculous that it happened for me as an individual, but my soul's mission is for the collective. It's for the evolution of mankind, of humanity, to remember, first of all, who we are, that we are love and light, that we are miraculous humans that have DNA that is beyond anything that we were ever taught in our lifetimes. You know, we were taught we have 2 strands of DNA and that there's a whole slew of what they called junk DNA. There's no junk DNA in your body. That is mind-controlled programming bullshit information that we were given growing up to believe that we are less than, that we are only capable of so much. And it's not true. We were also told we have gray matter, this stuff in our brain that's like, we're only using a quarter of our brain. The rest of it, we have no idea what it is. It's really just there. It's garbage. It's just matter. Yet, no. We were physically and interfered with through frequency. And because of that, we were unable to use a fully developed and functioning pineal gland and the rest of our brain. We were unable to really, truly use our different chakra systems and our heart center, right? Because this is where the galactic connection and communication really comes from, is our heart center. So how is this possible that we were so tricked for hundreds of thousands of years? Well, they shut off all of our ability to discern, all of our ability to learn, all of our ability to know who we truly are and to function as higher galactic beings. Well, now all of that negativity and control has dissipated, is gone, has been banished. Guess what? We are in the most extraordinary time where we can develop into very, very, very quickly into these galactic humans that we were always meant to be, fully functional, multidimensional beings. And this is part of what I brought back as far as the technology to accelerate these upgrades for whoever wants them, but mostly for spiritual leaders, starseeds, and healers, because we are the ones that are leading the march of waking up humanity to say, you are more than who you ever gave yourself credit for. We are more than this person who wakes up every day in lack and fear, who thinks, I just have to go to this 10, 12-hour day work week, work day, and work my fingers to the bone, be exhausted, come home, eat dinner, veg out in front of the TV, go to sleep, get up and do it all over again. There's so much more to our existence than being slave labor.
I know. I agree 100% with the things that you were saying. And, Earth, when we come here, we come with the total amnesia. Up until now, we have come as humans with total amnesia. So see what they can remember. And there have been rules of the universe that must be followed. And I think that the darker forces that have had us in control maybe did not follow those rules to the point that now there has been intervention. Because if you're not going to pay attention to and adhere to the rules of the universe, then I think a completely different scenario rolls into place. And I think that's what we're seeing, that there was just too many things that were done that were so completely wrong to people who are of the light. And that it has come to a point where it's been decided that's not going to happen anymore. So we've got help now. We've got a lot of help, is the way that I see it. A lot of help.
Well, yes, it's because our frequency is increasing, so we're able to tap into the trueness, the wholeness of who we are as galactic beings. But I want to reiterate and actually just expand on something you said, because we, being of a certain age, I'm in my 50s, you're in your 60s. And we were always taught, even by spiritual communities, that we come into this existence with total amnesia. And that is also somewhat of a program that we believed that we had to learn, right? And because of that, there is a little bit of pervasive undoing of the spiritual community, thinking that we have to reawaken, that we have, but here's the thing for us. Yes, we have had to go through all of those things. We believed that we had amnesia, but it's because we were interfered with by frequency. The little kids, the generations that that are coming in now, from all the way up to being born today, and people in their early 20s, they are coming into this world fully knowing who they are, fully recognizing that they have these abilities, and they know their star families, and they're telling their parents that they've had past lives and what they are and all the different experiences, but they know who they are. They know their power and they know their skills. So this debunks the fact that we, as a certain generation, came in knowing or believing that we had total amnesia when we were born. It's not true.
No,
we were interfered.
You're right. You're right. You're so right. Because I think back to the things that I recall from when I was a baby. And how do you recall things from when you were a baby? Well, we're souls. We're souls. We're souls with wisdom and with understandings so far beyond anything that this human vessel has a comprehension of. And I even remember as a 4-year-old looking down into a wishing well, and I had some thoughts, and I was focused, and my concentration was placed on that. And I saw a whole vision, scared the Jesus out of me. And so I actually said, no more, don't show me anything like that ever, ever, ever again. That was terrifying. So you're right that many of us did come in, and maybe everybody comes in with a whole lot more than they understand they come in with. And the children now are coming in with so much. My little granddaughter said to me not long ago, Grandma, I was teaching her how to pull tomatoes off of the tomato plant without taking the whole plant apart. And she said, Grandma, when I am older than you, I'm going to teach you to do the same thing. And I said, yes, you will. I'm sure of it. She was seeing into a future when she's going to be someone to me that's, you know what I mean? There's just so much going on that it's an exciting time. It's a fun time. It is so exciting. And there's so much to embrace and to understand. And our thoughts are so important. Thoughts become things, and people need to understand that. Make your thoughts the things you want to become things.
It is so true, Jan. And, yes, part of my my mission here is to activate star seeds and spiritual leaders and healers into their galactic human DNA, right? The 12-strand DNA that we were always meant to have. But even beyond that, I've just recently decided that I needed to have a bit of a pivot in my business, meaning there's so much more to this, because I was just shown through weather phenomenon and 2 hurricanes in a row in Florida that your entire pipeline of clients can be wiped out in an instant. And now what? Now what do we do? This is me being shown and proven once again that it doesn't matter what happens in our exterior world. There is a a way, there is a plan, there is a pivot for us to be able to stay 100% focused in our soul's mission and not have to worry about financial constraints of this 3D financial trap, right? Where we have to earn money to pay for the mortgage, to pay for the food on the table, all of this stuff. And it was, I'm literally just, this is like divine timing that I'm even talking about this, because I just spent all of yesterday and this morning developing an entire passive income stream for spiritual leaders to be able to put into place so that you can have money coming in on the regular, automatically, passively, while you can just remain 100% in your soul's mission without having to worry about financial constraints of this 3D trap, right? This financial 3D trap.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to make all the difference. It's going to bridge that gap between the people who are like, yes, this is what I want to do. It's all I want to do, but I still have to pay for my kids' education. I still have to pay for school clothes and food on the table and blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you can plug into a passive income that is directly geared for spiritual leaders, starseeds, and healers? I mean, anyone can do it, but I've pivoted to directly connect with us, with our people who are going to literally change the way the world operates.
Mm-hmm.
And who better to start with than those who are going to support and wake up the rest of humanity while we're still in this bit of a financial swirl of a trap, right? If we can just put that financial piece on automatic, on what is it called? On evergreen, you know what I mean? So that it's an automatic passive thing that happens without you having to man it or work it every single day, right? What if you could make $100, $200, $300 every single day? Do you think that could change your life? Do you think that could put you in a place that allows you to take care of all of the immediacy or the immediate income responsibilities that you have to live your life in this moment in time until the shift happens, where we don't have to rely on a 3D financial system and we can basically just jump over into our 100% focused spiritual work? This is how we accelerate that, so that we don't have to split our time, split our energy, and split our concentrations between here I am doing my spiritual work and here I am doing this bullshit financial trap stuff, right?
Which is exhausting. And then there's no energy left for many people for anything else.
Right. So I have had, this has been, I stressed out for about, 4 or 5 days while I was cleaning up the yard of all the trees and branches and, the blown over fence and all the things that happened to my property during the hurricanes, to think, okay, if this is happening right now, there's got to be other reasons, other catastrophic things that can throw a spiritual leader off their path. How do I not only fix it for myself, but make it replicatable for the rest of the spiritual leaders out there? How do I put this into place that it helps not only me, but everyone else? And this is what I've been working on for the past several days. Well, the past day and a half. So I am nearly this close to being completed with it. And then I'm just going to put it out there. So if you're ready, if whoever's listening to this is ready and is a spiritual leader, is ready to be 100% on their soul's mission, but doesn't want to think about the financial trap that is the 3D mechanism, let's get some passive income in place so you can be and have the impact you were always meant to have in awakening humanity.
That is a beautiful thought. That's a beautiful thought, to take away that piece that takes away so much of us.
It's true. And this is just proof positive again that my star family will never let me down. They are showing me and teaching me the things that need to happen to be put into place to make sure that my soul's mission is played out, is not interfered with. So even though we may think that some of these weather events were man-made, or some of these other things that are happening to keep the spiritual leaders down or to keep people in fear and anguish and that trap of just being on the hamster wheel, right? How do we get out of that? My star family will not allow me to be in that place. So I'm always being guidance, and it's coming through by downloads and just a knowingness and things that I'm like, yes, this resonates. This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And it just, as you work in it, the energy just is filling the room. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing, right? Because not only how do you feel that good? It's when you are not only helping yourself, but you're helping your community, you're helping the collective. And when you can tap into those two streams of energy, your individual energy and the energy of the collective, you know you're onto something big. And by doing that, you then have the power to change the entire way that we act and that we grow and that we evolve as humans.
Yes, for sure. And when you look at just our recent ways of things being in the world, the people who seem to have the gold in families, the people who seem to have the energy that is gold, that is love, they're the ones that are the scapegoats. They're the ones that are the black sheep. And finances are one big way that they are kept down, one very big way. When you remove that fear and you remove that stress, I can imagine that it would just allow people with high amounts of light, high amounts of frequency to fly much higher.
So, you know, what's really even beyond the fact that this is a pivot and a passive income stream for spiritual leaders, starseeds, and healers to really take advantage of, but it's being done through the use of positively geared automation, AI. So you can literally set this up in about 5 hours. Wow. This is not something that will take you 3 months to do. This is not labor intensive. This is plug and play. This is literally following a manuscript that is not very long that says, do this, do that, follow the freaking directions, and you will have passive income set up and be able to jump right into knowing fully and securely knowing you're taken care of financially in the 3D matrix, while also 100% being able to breathe deeply and focus on your soul's mission. This is how we move forward.
That is exciting. And, you know, I've been thinking about AI lately, and I quite firmly believe that AI is not brand new, that it is an energy that's been around for eons, and that I heard someone say something interesting yesterday, and it got me thinking that AI is really just nothing but another mineral. It's another piece of the part, right? And so if we're going to get fearful about it and have ideas that it's going to go in the wrong direction, well, those are the thoughts that are going to make things into reality. So a different direction to go is that AI can be helped to see what good it can do. And it's the same as us, right? It's the same as us. It can be helped to see how it can be a very big, powerful part of our world that is making changes for the good. And this sounds like something that you're tapping into. That's exciting.
You know
very
what,
exciting.
Jan? Just like you said, feed AI love, light, and positivity, and that's exactly what you get out of it. Feed it negativity, darkness, and, you know, fear, all those things, and that's what you get out of it.
Yes.
It's that simple. This is not a hard concept. AI can be a good thing if used in a positive light. It's here to help us. And you are absolutely right. It has been here for eons. This is, we can pick that apart, and that would be another whole
another episode.
Yes, for sure. But, there's many, many instances where AI has been used over the eons of time. So yeah, even in, just for a quick example, even in depictions in ancient art, you see technology being used. You just have to look it up. Just Google search it. Depictions of technology in ancient art, and you'll find so many. So yes, you're absolutely right. This is just something that we know, and we don't have to necessarily even do a whole episode on that. Just a quick Google search, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. And the more people understand that everything is like this, the better their life will become. Because as long as we are allowing fear, the things people say, like a good one that people have been saying lately is, you should be a little afraid of people who are highly spiritual because they are capable of doing things with energy. Well, stop that. That's dividing, and we don't need that anymore. We've had enough of that. And anybody who is spiritual can do amazing things, but they are not going to do things that are of a dark nature. And even if someone was mixed up and did do that in the world we live in today, any ill intention just goes back to sender. So
yes,
there
as
you
long
go.
as your intention is that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Being able to discern and being able to use your intention to make sure you're always protected, that you're only around the people who are of the light and willing to do good things. And anything that is outside of that parameter gets transmuted. And if that's your intention, then that's what will happen, because you are powerful.
Every single person is. And it just depends on how they use this freedom of choice to decide what they're going to do. So, we've covered a lot of ground here today.
Oh my gosh, we did.
I love these conversations so much. There's just so much to learn from one another, because yes, we have a lot of wisdom inside, but everybody has their own little special piece of the puzzle. And so conversing and sharing is so fascinating and brings out such curiosity and brings out new wisdom. I love it.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me on, Jan. I really appreciate it. It's been so fast, but it goes by fast when you're talking about all the things you love to talk about.
It does, for sure. And I would really like to just mention for all listeners that your experience and the things that you learned from your soul family and that you brought back here and that you are sharing with people in your light wave mastery program, which is helping people open up the DNA that has been sitting densely coated and still and not alive and well and living inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
It has been an amazing adventure to go on this with you, to take this course and to see how I've grown from it, see what has opened up inside me after this experience. So I will definitely leave a comment or leave in the comments or description how people can contact you and find out about this and join in. Is there anything you'd like to say about your lightweight mastery?
Well, Jan, I first just want to say thank you so much for the wonderful affirmation or testimony about the DNA activations, because they are exactly that. They are here just to be used for the betterment of humanity. And that's the whole mission that I have. So if anyone is wanting to know more, they can look, they can search me on the internet. It's just lightwavemastery.com. And I know on the Zoom there, it says carlenesaelg.com. I think that forwards automatically to lightwavemastery.com. You can read more about the activations themselves. But if you're even interested in the passive income and all the other things that are just now developing, just send me a DM on social media. I'm like literally the only Carlene Saelg on the planet. So if you search my name, you will find me, and just reach out. You can also put my email address or contact information in the show notes if you like, Jan. I'm happy to speak with anyone. I call myself a professional tea drinker. So if you want to have a virtual tea, we can absolutely do that. Jump on a quick call and just, have a conversation, because that's how we get to know each other. And if the frequency is right, you'll know if you're supposed to go through those DNA activations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is that inner knowing and that discernment that when you're ready for it, you're ready for it. Jump in with both feet. grow and ascend and develop and have fun here, because we are
Yes.
not meant to live a life of anything but joy and love, honestly. And it doesn't mean that everything will be perfect, but everything can be so palatable, so enjoyable in the moment.
I
We don't
agree.
have a lot to worry about and nothing to fear.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you,
thank you,
Jan.
Carlene. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.